The battering ram hit my front door at 6:30 in the morning. 3 men in police uniforms stormed into my living room, badges glinting under the early light. "This structure is illegal," the tallest one barked. "You have 30 minutes to evacuate before demolition begins." My hands shook as I held up my deed. "This is my home. I own this property." That's when I saw Herkarin, my neighbor, standing on my lawn with a clipboard and the coldest smile I'd ever seen. She wasn't here to help. She was here to watch my life crumble. But what I didn't know yet was that those weren't real cops. And Karen's plan was far more twisted than I could have imagined. My name is David Morrison, and I'd lived in Riverside Meadows for 7 years. I bought my 3-bedroom ranch house in April of 2017, right after my divorce. The neighborhood was peaceful, governed by a homeowners association led by Barbara Chuna, reasonable woman with blonde hair, red glasses, and a red blazer she wore to every meeting. Then Karen Whitmore moved in next door. Karen arrived in September of 2020. Within weeks, she'd filed 17 complaints with the HOA. Mi grass was too tall. My mailbox was the wrong color. My garden gnome violated aesthetic standards. Barbara dismissed most of them politely. That only made Karen angrier. "You'll regret not listening to me," Karen told Barbara at a meeting in November. "This neighborhood needs real standards." Barbara simply smiled. "We have standards, Karen. They're called basic human decency and respect for property rights." The morning of March 14th, 2024, I woke up at 6 to the sound of heavy trucks outside. I looked out the window and saw 3 white vans with Metropolitan Building Inspection Unit printed on the sides. Then came the pounding. "Metropolitan Police. Open up immediately." I ran to the door in my bathrobe and opened it to find 3 large men in police uniforms. The leader was bald, about 6 feet 4 inches tall, with a badge clipped to his belt. "David Morrison," he demanded. "Yes." "What's going on?" "This structure has been flagged for immediate demolition. Multiple building code violations. You have 30 minutes to evacuate." "What? There must be some mistake. I haven't done any construction." The second officer shoved a clipboard at me. "Complaint filed March 1st. Inspection conducted March 8th. Demolition order signed March 12th. It's all legal." "I never received any notice." "Not our problem. You've got 28 minutes now." That's when I saw Karen on my lawn, wearing white pants and a cream sweater, holding her own clipboard. Our eyes met, and she smiled. "What's going on?" I called to her. Karen walked closer. "Oh, David. I tried to warn you. I filed a complaint about your illegal additions. The county takes building codes seriously. I haven't done any additions. The sunroom, the extended patio." Karen's voice dripped with fake concern. "All unpermitted work from the previous owner. No one came by last week." Karen shrugged. "The paperwork says otherwise." I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and called Barbara. "David, at 6:45 in the morning. Barbara, there are cops at my house saying they're going to demolish it." "What? That's insane." "Don't let them do anything. I'm calling our HOA attorney right now." "Stall them." I turned back to the bald man. "I'm calling my lawyer. You can't just demolish someone's home without proper notice." He crossed his arms. Clock's ticking. 23 minutes. I noticed his badge looked wrong. The seal was off-center, and the number was printed, not engraved. My brother was a cop in Denver. I knew what real badges looked like. "Can I see your badge more closely?" "Primera, Askiv." The man's jaw tightened. "No. Stop wasting time." My phone buzzed. Barbara texted, "Attorney says no demolition without court order. Ask to see it." "I need to see the court order," I said firmly. "It's in the truck," the second man said quickly. "Then go get it." "We don't have time for this," the bald one snapped. "You're interfering with official business." "Then arrest me," I said. "If you're real cops, arrest me." The 3 men looked at each other. The bald one reached for his radio. but I noticed it wasn't turned on. No static, no crackling. "You're not real cops," Primera Said slowly. Karen's smile vanished. "Don't be ridiculous. Real cops don't demolish houses. Your badges are fake. Your radios are props. Who are you, people?" "You're making a big mistake, buddy," the bald man said, stepping closer. "No," a voice said from behind him. "You are." Barbara had arrived with Mr. Patel, a retired judge, and Mrs. Rodriguez, who ran a legal aid clinic. Barbara was holding her phone up, recording. "I've been filming since I pulled up," Barbara said calmly. "I've got clear footage of your fake badges and fake demolition order. I've also called the real police. They'll be here in approximately 5 minutes. The 3 men froze. Karen stepped forward. "Barbara, this doesn't concern you." "Oh, it absolutely concerns me," Barbara said, her red glasses catching the light. "I'm the HOA president. Any demolition requires HOA approval. Tease is fraud, trespassing, and probably a dozen other crimes." Judge Patel stepped forward. "Young man, I presided over the county court for 34 years. I know every building inspector in this jurisdiction. I've never seen any of you. You have about 4 minutes to explain yourselves." The 3 men looked at Karen. She looked back, her face pale. "This wasn't the plan," the second man muttered. "Shut up," Karen hissed. "What plan?" I asked. In the distance, sirens wailed. Karen's face twisted with rage. "This property should have been mine. I made an offer before David even knew it was for sale. The seller promised me first right of refusal." "That's not how real estate works," Mrs. Rodriguez said gently. "I don't care. This house has the best lot in the neighborhood. I deserved it." Karen was shouting now. "So I found a way to take it. These men were supposed to scare David into abandoning the property, and then I'd file a claim based on the violations I documented. You hired fake cops to terrorize someone out of their home so you could steal their property," Barbara said slowly. "It's not stealing if he leaves voluntarily." The sirens grew louder. The bald man took off running. His 2 companions followed, sprinting for their vans. They peeled out just as 2 real police cars rounded the corner. Karen tried to run, but Judge Patel stepped in front of her. "I don't think so," he said. The real police took Karen into custody. Sergeant Ali's, a professional officer with genuine credentials, took my statement. "We've been tracking a scam ring operating in suburban neighborhoods," she explained. "Fake cops, fake inspectors. They target homeowners for property theft schemes. Your neighbor just gave us our first solid lead." Karen was handcuffed and placed in a police car. As they drove away, she stared at me with pure hatred. Barbara put a hand on my shoulder. "You're okay?" I was shaking. "I almost lost my home." "But you didn't." "That's what neighbors do." Judge Patel nodded. "You'll need to file a restraining order. I'll help you. And I'll document everything for the HOA, Barbara added. As the morning progressed, Detective Marcus Chun arrived. He was tracking property fraud cases. "This is bigger than you think," he told me. "We believe Karen is part of an organized ring. They identify desirable properties, harass the owners, then use intimidation to force sales. Your case is the first where we caught them in the act. So what happens now? We investigate, but I have to warn, Yukiran posted bail within 3 hours, $50,000 cash. She's under house arrest with an ankle monitor, but she's next door right now." My blood ran cold. Barbara stood up. "Then we increase security. I'll arrange neighborhood watch rotations. David won't be alone." For the next 3 days, someone was always watching my house. Mr. Patel took mornings. Mrs. Rodriguez handled afternoons. Barbara stayed until midnight each night. On March 17th, Detective Chun called. "We searched Karen's house. You need to see what we found." He showed me photos on his tablet. Karen's spare bedroom was a command center. One wall was covered with photos of houses in Riverside, Medicine, including mine. Each had notes, owner's schedule, vulnerabilities, estimated property value. My house had the most notes. "Look at this," Detective Chun said, swiping to another photo. It was a fake deed for my property, with Karen's name as the owner. She was going to file this with the county after your house was demolished, and you'd been scared into leaving. She had fake inspection reports, fake violation notices, fake everything, complete identity theft and property theft. How many other houses? We found files on 17 properties in this neighborhood alone. 17? Karen had been planning to steal 17 homes. The 3 fake cops, licensed contractors, who've done this in 4 other states. Karen hired them because they have demolition experience. If we hadn't stopped them, they would have actually torn down your house. I felt sick. Barbara called an emergency HOA meeting for March 20th. Every homeowner in Riverside Meadows attended, 93 families total. Barbara stood at the front of the community center in her red blazer. Karen Whitmore orchestrated a criminal conspiracy to steal homes in our neighborhood. David's house was her first target. The police found evidence suggesting 17 properties were marked for theft. The room erupted in angry voices. Barbara raised her hand. The HOA board has voted unanimously. We're cooperating with law enforcement. We're also implementing new security measures and establishing a legal defense fund. Someone shouted, "What about Karen?" She's still next door to David. She's under house arrest. Her criminal trial is scheduled for June of 2024. That's not good enough, Mr. Patel said. David shouldn't have to live next door to someone who tried to destroy his life. The room filled with agreements. Barbara nodded. The HOA board has drafted a motion to revoke Karen's membership rights based on criminal conduct. We'll vote tonight. The vote was unanimous. 93 families voted to remove Karen from the HOA, but Karen wasn't finished. On March 23rd, I found a notice on my door. Karen's attorney was suing me for $2 million, claiming I'd harassed her and made false accusations. I called Barbara immediately. "She's trying to intimidate you into dropping charges," Barbara said. "It's a slap pea suit. It has no merit. But I can't afford to defend against a $2 million lawsuit. You won't have to. The HOA Legal Defense Fund will cover it. And, Senora Rodriguez volunteered to represent you pro bono." Mrs. Rodriguez filed a motion to dismiss within 48 hours. But that was just the beginning. Karen filed complaints with the county, forcing me to endure 3 separate inspections. All found nothing wrong. She filed noise complaints, claiming I played loud music at 3 in the morning. Police came 6 times and found my house silent. She even filed a complaint with animal control, claiming I had an aggressive dog. I don't own a dog. She's unraveling, Detective Chun told me. People like Karen can't handle losing control. What do you mean? Detective Chun leaned back. We've traced Karen's activities back 9 years. She's run this scam in 3 other states under 2 different names. In Kansas, she successfully took 2 properties. In Oregon, 1. In Arizona, she almost got caught but fled. She's made approximately $3 million from stolen property sales. Your neighborhood was supposed to be her biggest score yet. The scale was staggering. But here's what worries me, Detective Chun continued. Karen has resources. The 3 fake cops are just foot soldiers. There are others, fake lawyers, fake inspectors, fake title company representatives. Are you saying I'm still in danger? I'm saying stay vigilant. He was right to warn me. On April 2nd, I received a letter claiming my property taxes were delinquent and I owed $17,342 or face foreclosure. I called the county tax office. They had no record of delinquent taxes. The letter was fake. Barbara helped me file a police report. Karen's getting desperate. This is psychological warfare. She wants you to feel constantly under attack. It's working, I admitted. Barbara looked at me with sharp eyes behind her red glasses. Don't let her win, David. That's exactly what she wants. She wants you to crack, to give up, to sell, and leave. Don't give her the satisfaction. But the pressure was immense. I couldn't sleep. Every car made me nervous. Every knock on the door sent my heart racing. The HOA neighbors rallied. Mrs. Rodriguez set up security cameras. Mr. Patel installed motion sensor lights. The Johnsons walked their dog past my house 4 times daily. Barbara organized meal trains, and even stayed overnight a few times, sleeping on my couch. "This is what community means," she told me. Karen tried to destroy it, but all she did was make us stronger. On April 9th, Detective Chun called with news. We arrested 4 more members of Karen's ring, 2 fake inspectors and 2 title company fraudsters. They're all flipping, trying to cut deals. They all point back to Karen as the mastermind. That's good news, right? Very good. Karen's looking at 15 to 20 years if convicted. What about the fake cops? They've pleaded guilty in exchange for testifying. They'll do 5 to 7 years each. But Karen was still next door, still under house arrest, still finding ways to torment me. On April 15th, tax day, ironically I found a dead rat on my doorstep, positioned right where I'd step when leaving for work. I called the police. They couldn't prove Karen did it, but everyone knew. Barbara showed up within 20 minutes. She looked at the rat, looked at Karen's house, and something changed in her expression. I'd never seen Barbara truly angry before, but now, standing on my porch, she was furious. "Enough," she said quietly. "This ends now." "Barbara, what are you going to do?" She smiled, but it wasn't kind. It was a smile that promised action. "I'm going to do what I should have done weeks ago. I'm going to make sure Karen Whitmore regrets ever moving to Riverside Meadows." That evening, Barbara called another emergency HOA meeting. But this time, she didn't invite just the neighbors. She invited the media. The story continues with Barbara's plan to expose Karen's criminal enterprise, the escalating legal battle, and the shocking revelation about who else Karen has been working with. If you want to see Karen get what she deserves, let me know in the comments. Should David fight back, or should he just sell and move? What would you do in this situation? Karen hired fake cops to demolish my home so she could steal my property. Barbara, our HOA president, caught them on camera and exposed the fraud. Karen was arrested but posted bail and continued harassing me from house arrest. After weeks of psychological warfare, Barbara decided to fight back by inviting the media. The Channel 7 news van pulled up to the Riverside Meadows Community Center at 6:45 on April 16, 2024. Reporter Amanda Chun stepped out with her cameraman. Barbara greeted them at the entrance. "Are you ready for this?" she asked me. "What exactly are you planning?" Barbara adjusted her red glasses. "Karen thinks she's untouchable. Tonight, we show her what happens when an entire community fights back." Inside, the room was packed. 93 families, every household in Riverside Meadows. Mr. Patel sat in front with documents. Mrs. Rodriguez had her laptop connected to a projector. Amanda's camera swept across the crowd. Barbara called the meeting to order at 7 o'clock. "Thank you all for coming. I know you're scared, wondering if your home is next. Tonight, we take back our neighborhood." The room erupted in applause. David Morrison will share his story. My legs felt weak walking to the front. The camera's red light blinked. My name is David Morrison. 4 weeks ago, 3 men in fake police uniforms tried to demolish my home. Karen Whitmore, my neighbor, orchestrated this to steal my property. I paused. Since then, she's sued me for $2 million. Sent fake tax bills, filed false noise complaints, left a dead rat on my doorstep. I haven't slept properly in a month. Karen wants me helpless. The room was silent, but Barbara told me Karen tried to destroy our community and only made us stronger. Looking at all of you, I believe that's true. The applause was deafening. Barbara stepped forward. "Mr. Patel has been analyzing Karen's operation." The retired judge stood. "I've reviewed over 300 pages of evidence. Karen Whitmore isn't a lone criminal. She's part of a sophisticated ring that's operated in 4 states over 9 years. She's stolen 5 properties worth $3.2 million, defrauded 17 families, violated 42 federal and state laws." He pulled out a chart. "This is her network. At the top, Karen. Below her, 3 fake cops now arrested. Below them, 2 fake inspectors, 2 fake title representatives, 1 fake county clerk. 5 arrested, 3 still at large. Amanda was taking furious notes. Most disturbing, we found evidence. Karen targeted 17 properties in Riverside Meadows. The room erupted. Mrs. Rodriguez activated the projector. A map appeared with 17 houses highlighted in red. Mine. Mr. Patel's. The Johnsons. Families I'd known for years. If your house is highlighted, Karen had a complete file on you. Your work schedule, vacation patterns, property value, vulnerabilities. A woman in the 3rd row cried. Her husband held her. "This is psychological terrorism," Barbara said, her voice hard. "Karen planned to destroy families and tear apart our community. She thought she'd get away with it." "So what do we do?" Mr. Johnson asked. "She's still next door to David." Barbara smiled that smile that promised action. "That's why we invited Channel 7. Amanda, would you like to ask questions?" Amanda stood with her microphone. "Mr. Patel, 5 members arrested. What about Karen?" Karen posted $50,000 bail within 3 hours. She's under house arrest with an ankle monitor, awaiting trial in June. But house arrest hasn't stopped her harassment. "So she's still a threat?" "Absolutely." Amanda turned to me. "David, how has this affected your life?" "I can't sleep or eat normally. I'm constantly looking over my shoulder. Every piece of mail terrifies me. Karen has turned my home into a prison, and the HOA has been supporting you." Barbara and the neighbors have been incredible. Security watches, cameras, legal help. Without them, I don't know what I'd have done. Amanda turned to Barbara. "What's the HOA's position?" Riverside Meadows voted unanimously to revoke Karen's membership. We've established a legal defense fund, implemented enhanced security, and we're cooperating fully with law enforcement. Barbara gestured to the room. "You can't intimidate an entire community. You can't terrorize people who refuse to be terrorized." The room erupted in cheers. Amanda's cameraman captured everything. After the meeting, Amanda interviewed other residents. The Johnsons talked about suspicious vehicles photographing their home. The Rodriguezes discovered someone tried accessing their property records. Mr. Patel revealed someone attempted to file a fraudulent lien against his property. Every story pointed back to Karen. The Channel 7 segment aired at 11 o'clock. I watched with Barbara on my couch. Amanda stood in front of Karen's house. Karen Whitmore sits inside this home tonight under house arrest, but continuing to threaten her neighbors. The Riverside Meadows community is asking, how long must they live in fear? When will justice be served? My phone rang immediately. "Detective Chun, did you see it? Just finished." Karen's attorney just called my captain, demanding we stop you from defaming his client on television. He's threatening to sue everyone. Can he do that? He can try. But everything you said was documented fact. Truth is an absolute defense. He paused. That segment has been shared 800 times in 30 minutes. It's going viral. You just put Karen's face on the evening news. Now everyone knows who she is. Barbara raised her water glass to community solidarity. But our victory was short. The next morning, April 17th, I found my car's tires slashed. All 4. Clean cuts. Officer Torres arrived within 20 minutes. This is retaliation for the news story. Professional knife, probably between 3 and 5 this morning. Karen's under house arrest, but she can make phone calls, coordinate with accomplices. He took photos. I'll send this to Detective Chun. Might be enough to revoke her bail. Might be we have to prove she ordered it. Barbara arrived, saw my car, and pulled out her phone. I'm calling HOA Insurance. We'll cover repairs, and I'm scheduling an emergency board meeting. But it didn't stop. Over 3 days, 4 other homeowners reported suspicious activity. The Johnsons' garden hose cut. Mrs. Rodriguez's back door jimmied. Mr. Patel's mailbox vandalized with spray paint. Snitch. Every incident between 3 and 5 in the morning. Every victim had appeared in the news segment. Karen was sending a message. Speak out, pay the price. On April 20th, Detective Chun called. We traced phone records from Karen's landline. She's calling a burner phone we can't trace. Every night around 2 o'clock, 5 to 10-minute calls. We believe she's coordinating attacks. Can't you arrest her? We need proof. The calls relate to vandalism. We're working on a wiretap warrant, but that takes time. How much time? Could be days or weeks. That evening, Barbara called an emergency board meeting at Mr. Patel's house. We need to change tactics, Barbara said, spreading papers across the table. Karen's using the legal system's slowness against us. She pulled out a document. I've been researching HOA law. We can fine members for violations. Karen has violated approximately 30 bylaws: unauthorized business activity, property damage, creating a public nuisance. She's already removed from the HOA, Mr. Johnson noted, but she owns property in our jurisdiction. We can fine her. And if she doesn't pay, we place a lien on her property. Mr. Patel leaned forward. How much? Our bylaws allow fines up to $500 per day per violation. 30 violations, that's $15,000 per day. The room went silent. That's aggressive, Mrs. Rodriguez said. Karen hired fake cops to demolish David's home, Barbara said flatly. Terrorized 17 families. Vandalized property. I don't think $15,000 a day is aggressive. I think it's appropriate. Will it hold up in court? Mr. Johnson asked. Mr. Patel nodded. HOA. Bylaws are contractual agreements. Every homeowner signs them. Karen signed ours in September 2023. She agreed to follow our rules. If she violated them and we can prove it, we can fine her. And if she doesn't pay, we place a lien on her property, Barbara said. She can't sell it, refinance it, or use it as collateral without paying us first. We freeze her assets. She sue us, Mrs. Rodriguez warned. Let her sue, Barbara said. She already threatened to sue everyone. It's time we fight back. The board voted. Unanimous. Next morning, April 21st, Barbara delivered the fine notice. $15,000 per day. Retroactive to March 14th. Total due, $540,000. Karen's attorney called Barbara within an hour, screaming about harassment. Barbara calmly recorded the call and forwarded it to Detective Chun. Then Karen made a mistake. That afternoon, she called a press conference on her front lawn, staying within house arrest boundaries. I'm the victim here, Karen said in designer clothes. David Morrison and the HOA conspired to destroy my reputation. False accusations, defamation on television, outrageous fines to force me out. This is harassment. A witch hunt. Amanda Chun was there. Ms. Whitmore, how do you respond to evidence you hired fake police officers? Those allegations are unproven. I am innocent until proven guilty. What about files police found with information on 17 properties? Legitimate real estate research. I'm an investor. And the fake deed with your name on David Morrison's property? Karen's smile tightened. That document was planted by police to frame me. Then Amanda asked the question that changed everything. Ms. Whitmore, we've confirmed you've used 2 other names in 3 states. In Kansas, Catherine White. In Oregon, Karen Whitfield. In Arizona, Kara Whitman. Can you explain multiple identities? Karen went pale. That's legal name. Variations. Are they? We found court records showing you legally changed your name 3 times in 9 years. Always after fleeing a state where property theft investigations were ongoing. Karen's lawyer stepped in. This press conference is over, but the damage was done. That evening, the story went national. CNN picked it up. Fox News. By midnight, Karen Whitmore property theft was trending on social media. Detective Chun called me at 1 in the morning. Karen's attorney informed us she's waiving her right to jury trial and requesting a plea deal. What does that mean? She knows she lose. The publicity destroyed any chance of a fair trial. Her attorney is minimizing prison time by cooperating. How much time if she pleads guilty and testifies against accomplices? 12 to 15 years. If she goes to trial, 25 to 30. Her attorney knows the math. So it's over. Not quite. The plea deal needs prosecutor and judge approval. Could take weeks. But yeah, David, I think we're seeing the beginning of the end. I called Barbara immediately. Did you hear? Detective Chun just called me too. We did it. Davy. I could hear the emotion in her voice. Thank you for everything. For believing me. For organizing the neighborhood. For fighting back when I wanted to give up. That's what community means, Barbara said softly. We take care of each other. Always. The next days was surreal. The vandalism stopped. The fake documents stopped. The harassment stopped. Karen was silent. Lawyers negotiating behind closed doors. On April 28th, Detective Chun called with an update. Karen officially accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty to 18 felony counts including fraud, conspiracy, identity theft, and witness intimidation. In exchange for testifying against her 3 remaining accomplices, she'll serve 15 years in federal prison with no parole, before 12 years. 15 years, I repeated, and full restitution to all victims. The court is ordering her to pay you $325,000 for emotional distress, property damage, and legal fees. $325,000, official recognition that what Karen did was wrong. What about her house? It'll be sold to pay restitutions and fines. The HOAS lien gets paid first, then victim restitutions, then federal fines. Karen will walk away with nothing. That evening, Barbara organized a celebration at the community center. Every family came. Food, music, speeches. Mr. Patel stood at the front, raising his glass. To David Morrison, who stood up to a criminal. To Barbara Chun, who proved leadership means fighting for your community. And to all of us 93 families who refused to be intimidated. Everyone raised their glasses. Barbara hugged me. You did good, David. We did good, I corrected. This was never just about me. But as the celebration continued, I couldn't shake one thought. Karen had accepted a plea deal. She was going to prison. But 3 accomplices were still out there, and they knew my name. 2 days later, on April 30th, something happened that made my blood run cold. I came home from work to find my front door slightly ajar. I knew I'd locked it that morning. I called 911 immediately. Officer Torres arrived with backup within minutes. They swept my house room by room. Nothing was stolen. Nothing was damaged. But someone had been inside. On my kitchen table, they found a single piece of paper with typed words. Karen made a mistake. We won't. Detective Chun arrived within the hour. He bagged the note as evidence, dusted for fingerprints, checked for DNA. This is a direct threat, he said. The 3 remaining accomplices? No Karens. Cooperating, they're scared, desperate, and dangerous. What do I do? We're putting you under police protection. An officer will be stationed outside your house 24/7 until we catch them. Barbara came over immediately. She took one look at me and made a decision. You're not staying here alone. Pack a bag. You're staying at my house until this is resolved. Barbara, I can't. Yes, you can. And you will. Her voice was firm. This community fought too hard to keep you safe. I'm not letting Karen's accomplices finish what she started. I packed a bag and moved into Barbara's guest room that night. An unmarked police car sat outside her house. Another watched my empty home. For the next week, life existed in a strange limbo. I went to work with a police escort, came home to Barbara's house with a police escort. Every shadow felt like a threat. Then, on May 7th, Detective Chun called with news that changed everything. We got them, all 3. FBI raided their locations simultaneously this morning. 2 in Nevada, 1 in Oregon. They're in custody. I sat down heavily. All of them. Every single one. The fake inspectors and the fake title company representative. They're facing federal charges for conspiracy, fraud, and now, thanks to that note in your kitchen, attempted witness intimidation. How did you find them? Karen's plea deal. She gave us everything: names, locations, bank accounts, communication methods. She burned her entire network to save herself. That evening, Barbara opened a bottle of wine. Real wine, not water. "It's actually over," she said, pouring 2 glasses. "It's actually over," I echoed. We clinked glasses and drank. "When do you move back to your house?" Barbara asked. "Tomorrow, I think." "It's time," Barbara nodded. "But know that you're always welcome here. Your family now, David." That's what this whole ordeal taught. Me family isn't just blood. It's the people who stand beside you when the world tries to tear you down. The next morning, I moved back home. The locks had been changed. Security cameras covered every angle. The neighborhood watch continued their rotations. But for the first time in 7 weeks, I slept through the night. Karen Whitmore's sentencing was scheduled for June 15th, 2024. I planned to attend. I planned to look her in the eye and watch justice be served. But I didn't know then that Karen had one more secret, one more twist that would shake everything we thought we knew. Karen accepted a plea deal and her accomplices are arrested. But is it really over? What do you think Karen's hiding? Let me know in the comments. Karen accepted a plea deal, 15 years in prison. Her 3 accomplices were arrested. I moved back home, finally able to sleep. But Karen has one more secret that's about to shake everything we thought we knew. June 15th, 2024 arrived cool and clear. I wore my best suit to the courthouse. Barbara insisted on coming, along with Mr. Patel, Mrs. Rodriguez, and 23 other Riverside Meadows residents. "You shouldn't face her alone," Barbara said, her red blazer sharp in the morning light. The courtroom was packed, victims on one side, reporters on the other. Amanda Chun from Channel 7 gave me a supportive nod. Karen entered at 9 o'clock in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. She'd lost weight. Her hair hung limp, but her eyes still held that cold calculation. Judge Patricia Hoffman presided, known for harsh sentences in white-collar crimes. She reviewed the file. "Señora Paja, Señora Whitmore, you've pleaded guilty to 18 felony counts spanning 9 years and 4 states. You've defrauded 17 families, stolen 5 properties worth over $3 million. Do you have anything to say before sentencing?" Karen's attorney, Randall Bishop, stood. "Your Honor, my client wishes to make a statement." Karen stood, handcuffs clinking. She looked directly at me. "I want to apologize to David Morrison, to all the families I hurt, to the Riverside Meadows community. What I did was wrong. I was greedy, selfish, and cruel. I deserve every year of the sentence I'm about to receive." Barbara tensed beside me. Something was wrong. Karen sounded too rehearsed. "But," Karen continued, "I wasn't acting alone. Not in the way everyone thinks." Judge Hoffman leaned forward. "Explain. My accomplices are all guilty, but there's someone else. Someone inside the Riverside Meadows HOA who helped me from the beginning. Someone who gave me access to private homeowner records, financial information, security schedules. Someone who's been playing hero while secretly working with me." The courtroom erupted. Judge Hoffman slammed her gavel. "Order, Ms. Whitmore. Do you have proof?" Karen's attorney stepped forward. "Your Honor, we have documentation. Emails, bank transfers, recorded phone calls." Judge Hoffman looked at Prosecutor Linda Vasquez. "Were you aware of these allegations?" "No, Your Honor." "This is the first we're hearing of it. We'll recess for 2 hours while I review this evidence." As Karen was led away, she looked at our group and smiled. Barbara's face was pale. "This is another manipulation. But Mr. Patel looked worried. Or it's true, and we have a traitor. We waited in the courthouse cafeteria. The weight of Karen's accusation hung over everything. Detective Chun arrived 30 minutes later. Karen provided significant documentation. Emails from someone in Riverside Meadows, bank transfers from an offshore account, phone records showing calls between Karen and this person going back to November 2023. Who? Barbara asked. Detective Chun hesitated. The IP address traces back to devices connected to the HOA network. Whoever this is had access to the HOA server. That's impossible, Mrs. Rodriguez said. Only board members have server access. That's me, Barbara, Mr. Patel, the Johnsons, and Tom Whitfield. We all looked at each other. 5 board members. It's not me, Mrs. Rodriguez said firmly. It's certainly not me, Mr. Patel added. I stood on television and called her a criminal, Barbara said. Mr. Johnson shook his head. My house was one of the 17 targeted. That left Tom Whitfield, a fireman in his 50s who handled HOA finances. Always in the background, always reliable. Where's Tom? I asked. Everyone looked around. Tom hadn't come to the sentencing. Detective Chun was already on his phone. I'm sending units to Tom Whitfield's address now. Judge Hoffman reconvened court at 11:30. After reviewing the evidence, I'm compelled to take Ms. Whitmore's allegations seriously. The documentation shows a pattern of communication and financial transactions between Ms. Whitmore and an individual with access to confidential HOA information. She looked at Detective Chun. Detective, what's the status? Detective Chun stood. Your Honor, we've identified a person of interest, Amos Whitfield, treasurer of the Riverside Meadows HOA. Officers are attempting to locate Mr. Whitfield. His home appears abandoned. Neighbors report he left with suitcases yesterday evening. The courtroom exploded. Barbara grabbed my arm. Tom, she whispered. Tom was helping her. Judge Hoffman slammed her gavel. Order. In light of these developments, I'm postponing Ms. Whitmore's sentencing pending investigation. Ms. Whitmore will remain in custody. Court adjourned. We spilled out into chaos. Reporters swarmed. Cameras flashed. Barbara pushed through the crowd, pulling me with her. We made it to Mr. Patel's car and drove back in stunned silence. Detective Chun called as we pulled into the neighborhood. We searched Tom's house. He's gone. Cleaned out his bank accounts yesterday, approximately $230,000. We found his computer. Our tech team is analyzing it. What does this mean for Karen? Barbara asked. If Tom was helping her, it's a mitigating factor. Could reduce her sentence by several years. But Tom faces serious charges: conspiracy, fraud, betrayal of fiduciary duty. That evening, Barbara called an emergency board meeting. With Tom gone, only 4 board members remained. How did we miss this? Mrs. Rodriguez asked. Karen is a professional con artist, Mr. Patel said. Tom was just another mark. Or Tom was a willing participant, Barbara said bitterly. Those bank transfers went to him. When did Tom join the board? Primera asked. Barbara checked her phone. August 2023. Volunteered, said he wanted to give back. August 2023. I repeated. Karen moved here in September 2023. The room went silent. Tom was planted, Mr. Patel said. Karen sent him in first. He joined the board, gained trust, got access to records. Then Karen moved in and they executed their plan. But why wait 7 months? Mrs. Rodriguez asked. Because they were gathering information, Barbara said. Tom was collecting data on all of us. Building profiles, identifying vulnerable owners. David's house wasn't random, it was carefully selected based on Tom's information. My stomach turned. Tom had been at my house in January. He'd walked through, asked about my schedule. I thought he was being friendly. He was gathering intelligence. We need to access the HOA server, Mr. Patel said. Mrs. Rodriguez opened her laptop. We watched as she navigated access logs. Tom's username appeared hundreds of times. He accessed every homeowner file, Mrs. Rodriguez said, shaking. Property records, financial information, security details, everything. When was his last access? Yesterday. Yesterday, June 14th, at 6:47 p.m. He downloaded everything to an external drive, the entire HOA database. Why would he need that if he's running? I asked. Mr. Patel's face went grim. He's not running. He's going underground, taking our information to sell to other criminals. Detective Chun arrived with FBI agent Sarah Morrison. Thomas Whitfield is now a fugitive, Agent Morrison said. We've issued warrants at all airports and borders, but with $230,000 cash and a database full of identity information, he could disappear for years. What about Karen? Primera. Asked. If we prove Tom was her co-conspirator from the beginning, it changes her plea deal. Her cooperation could reduce her sentence. So she serves less time because she recruited someone to betray us. Barbara's voice was sharp. Our priority is catching Tom before he uses that stolen information to harm more people. Over the next week, FBI agents interviewed every resident. They discovered Tom had 3 other identities, 6 bank accounts, and property in Mexico. He'd been planning his exit for months. Tom wasn't just Karen's accomplice, Detective Chun explained at a neighborhood meeting. He was planning his own property theft operation. Karen was training him on June 23rd. 8 days after the hearing, Agent Morrison called. We caught him. Tom Whitfield was arrested in Tijuana, attempting to board a flight to Panama. Fake passport, $170,000, cash, and a laptop with information on 42 neighborhoods across California and Arizona. Relief flooded through me. What happens now? He'll be extradited, charged with conspiracy, fraud, identity, theft. He's looking at 20 years minimum. And Karen's sentencing, rescheduled for July 8th. July 8th arrived hot and clear. I wore the same suit. Barbara wore her red blazer. 37 Riverside Meadows residents filled the courtroom. Karen looked thinner, older. The fight had gone out of her. Judge Hoffman reviewed the updated file. Ms. Whitmore, your cooperation has been noted. You provided information that led to Thomas Whitfield's arrest, preventing potentially dozens of future crimes. However, your actions over 9 years caused immeasurable harm. She paused. Taking into account your cooperation and Tom Whitfield's involvement, I sentence you to 12 years in federal prison with parole possibility. After 10 years, you'll pay full restitution to all victims, totaling $4.2 million. Karen closed her eyes. 12 years instead of 15. Tom's betrayal had bought her 3 years. Additionally, you are permanently banned from any position involving real estate or property management. You will register as a convicted felon for life, and you will testify in Thomas Whitfield's trial. The gavel fell. Karen was led away without looking at us. She looked broken. Outside, Barbara addressed reporters. Today, justice was served. The Riverside Meadows community stood together, fought together, and won together. That's the real story: community solidarity in the face of evil. The story went national again. Neighborhood defeats property theft ring read headlines everywhere. But that night, alone in my house, he felt hollow. We'd won. Karen was in prison. Tom was in prison. My home was safe. So why didn't it feel like victory? Barbara came over around 8, carrying pizza and beer. You're brooding, she said. Tom was our friend. He sat in this kitchen. I trusted him. We all trusted him. That's what con artists do. How do we trust anyone again? Barbara sat down, adjusting her red glasses. We don't know. Trust always involves risk, but the alternative is living in fear forever. Karen and Tom already stole months of peace. Don't let them steal the rest of our lives. She was right. Besides, we have something Karen and Tom never understood. Real community. Real relationships built on genuine care. That's stronger than any con. We ate pizza and talked about normal things. It felt good. Normal. As Barbara was leaving, she turned in my doorway. The HOA board is voting on Tom's replacement next week. We want you to join. Me, I'm not a leader. You stood up to Karen when you could have run. You testified when you could have stayed silent. You helped hold this community together. That's leadership, and we need you. She left before I could argue. That night, I slept soundly for the first time in 3 months. The next morning, Detective Chun called. David Karen's lawyers filed an appeal yesterday. My stomach dropped. An appeal. They're arguing her sentence was too harsh given her cooperation. They're asking for reduction to 8 years. Can they do that? They can try. Appeals take time, could be 6 months, but I wanted you to know. After we hung up, I sat on my porch, watching the sunrise. Across the street, Mr. Patel worked in his garden. The Johnsons walked their dog. Mrs. Rodriguez jogged past, waving. Life went on. The neighborhood healed. But one thought nagged at me. Tom had information on 42 other neighborhoods. How many other Toms were out there right now? Joining HOA boards, gaining trust, preparing to strike. How many other families would wake up to fake cops at their door? I didn't have answers, but I knew one thing. Riverside Meadows would be ready. We'd installed better security, created better oversight, built stronger bonds. If another Karen came, she'd find a very different community. Barbara called later that morning. Did you hear about Karen's appeal? Yeah. What do you think? I watched Mr. Patel in his garden, the Johnsons with their dog, Mrs. Rodriguez jogging. Life continuing. I think we've already won, Barbara. Whether she serves 8 years or 12, we're safe. We're together. We're home. Barbara was quiet. Then, you're going to be a great board member, David, I laughed. I haven't said yes yet. You will, because that's who you are. We don't run. We fight. We rebuild. We protect each other. She was right. Okay, I said. I'll do it. Good first. Board meeting is Thursday at 7. Don't be late. She hung up, and I sat there, smiling despite everything. Despite Karen, despite Tom, despite fake cops and betrayal. We'd survived. And that was everything. But Thursday's board meeting would reveal something that would change everything again. Something that proved our fight wasn't over yet. Tom's betrayal is exposed. But Karen has filed an appeal, and the investigation reveals Tom had information on 42 other neighborhoods. Part 4 will bring the final resolution. What happens at David's first board meeting? Is there another threat? And what's Karen's final move from prison? The epic conclusion awaits. What do you think happens next? Let me know in the comments. Karen received 12 years in prison for orchestrating a property theft ring. Her accomplice Tom Whitfield, our HOA treasurer, was exposed as a traitor who'd been planted in our community. He was caught in Mexico with information on 42 other neighborhoods. Karen filed an appeal to reduce her sentence. I agreed to join the HOA board. But at the end of Part 3, something at Thursday's board meeting was about to change everything again. Thursday evening, July 11th, 2024. I arrived at Barbara's house for my first board meeting at 6:55. The other members were already there. Barbara, Mr. Patel, Mrs. Rodriguez, and Mr. Johnson. Welcome to the board, David, Barbara said, gesturing to an empty chair at her dining table. She wore her red blazer and red glasses, looking every bit the leader who'd saved our community. Thanks. So what's on the agenda? Barbara's smile faded. Something arrived this morning. Something none of us expected. She slid a manila envelope across the table. It was addressed to Riverside Meadows HOA board, with no return address. The postmark showed it had been sent from the Federal Correctional Facility, where Karen was imprisoned. It's from Karen, Mrs. Rodriguez said quietly. She sent it 3 days ago, right after her sentencing. My hands shook as I opened the envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter on prison stationery. Karen's handwriting was surprisingly elegant. I read it aloud. Dear Riverside Meadows HOA Board, by the time you read this, I will be beginning my 12-year sentence. I know you hate me. I know you have every right to. What I did was unforgivable, but I'm writing because there's something you need to know. Something I couldn't say in court because it would have destroyed my plea deal. Tom Whitfield wasn't my only inside contact. There's someone else in Riverside Meadows who's been helping my organization. Someone who's still free, still active, still dangerous. I didn't recruit this person, they recruited themselves. They approached my network months ago, offering to provide information on other HOA communities in exchange for a cut of future operations. I'm telling you this now because I realized something in prison. I spent 9 years destroying families for profit. And where did it get me? 12 years in a cell, alone, hated, with nothing. This person in your community is about to make the same mistake I did. They're planning to target 3 other neighborhoods within the next 6 months, and they're using everything they learned from watching Tom and me. I'm not telling you this for forgiveness. I don't deserve that. I'm telling you because maybe, just maybe, I can stop one more family from going through what you went through. The person's name is in a sealed envelope that I've given to Detective Marcus Chun. He'll give it to you after you've read this letter. I only ask one thing. Give this person a chance to turn themselves in before you go to the police. Maybe they'll make a better choice than I did. Karen Whitmore, the room was silent. She's lying, Mr. Johnson said finally. This is another manipulation. Another way to create chaos and division. Maybe, Barbara said, or maybe she's telling the truth. My phone rang. Detective Chun, did you get the letter? Asked. Just finished reading it. I'm outside Barbara's house right now with the sealed envelope, my ecomane. Barbara opened the door. Detective Chun entered, holding a small white envelope with Karen's handwriting on it. Open in the presence of the full HOA board. Barbara broke the seal. Inside was a single piece of paper with one name written in Karen's elegant script, Sara Rodriguez. Everyone turned to Mrs. Rodriguez. Her face went white. No. This is insane. I've been fighting Karen from day one. I represented David. I installed security cameras. Why would Karen accuse me? I don't know, Barbara said slowly. But we need to figure this out. Detective Chun pulled out his phone. I took Karen's accusation seriously enough to do some preliminary investigation. Mrs. Rodriguez, can you explain why you have a bank account in the Cayman Islands that received a $20,000 deposit on March 20th, 2024? Mrs. Rodriguez's hands trembled. I don't have an account in the Cayman Islands. You do. It was opened in February of 2024. Using your social security number and passport information. Then someone stole my identity. Karen or Tom must have. Except the account was accessed from your home IP address on 6 different occasions, Detective Chun said quietly, and the funds were transferred to a domestic account in your name last month. Mrs. Rodriguez stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. For a moment, I thought she'd run, but instead, she sank back down, her face in her hands. I didn't want to, she whispered. I never wanted to hurt anyone. The room went cold. Sarah, Barbara's voice was barely audible. What did you do? Mrs. Rodriguez looked up, tears streaming down her face. My daughter Maria, needs a kidney transplant. The medical bills are astronomical. Insurance won't cover everything. I'm going to lose my house, paying for her treatment. She wiped her eyes. Tom approached me in January. He said there was a way to make money without hurting anyone in Riverside Meadows. He said they'd target other communities, not ours. He said, I'd just provide basic information, HOA protocols, security vulnerabilities, typical homeowner schedules, nothing that would directly harm anyone. But people were harmed, Mr. Patel said, his voice hard. Families in those other 42 neighborhoods Tom had information on. I know. Mrs. Rodriguez was sobbing now. After David's house, after seeing what they did to him, I wanted to stop. But Tom said if I backed out, he'd make sure Maria never got her transplant. He said he had contacts who could blacklist her from donor lists. So you kept helping them, Barbara said. I provided information on 3 other HOA communities: Cypress Grove, Oakmont Hills, and Riverside Pines. Just basic security protocols and board meeting schedules. That's all. I swear I never gave them homeowner financial data or targeted specific families. Detective Chun was already on his phone, calling for backup. Sara Rodriguez, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud. And wait, Barbara said, raising her hand. Just wait. Everyone looked at her. Sarah, is your daughter really sick? Guess. She's at Children's Hospital right now. Stage 4 kidney disease. She's only 9 years old. Barbara closed her eyes. When she opened them, they were wet. Detective Chun, before you arrest her, I want to know something. Sarah, after David's house, after you saw what Karen and Tom were capable of, did you give them any more information? Mrs. Rodriguez shook her head. No. I cut off all contact. I deleted the encrypted messaging app they'd given me. I blocked their numbers. That was in April. After the news segment aired, I realized what I'd done, what I'd enabled, and I couldn't do it anymore. So the 3 communities you mentioned, did any of them actually get attacked? I don't know. Tom was arrested before anything happened, and I never gave them anything specific enough to target individual homes. Just general security information that any criminal could learn by watching a neighborhood for a few days. Detective Chun lowered his phone. I'll need to verify all of this, but if what you're saying is true, we might be able to make a deal, especially if you're willing to testify against any other members of Karen's network. Mrs. Rodriguez nodded, wiping her eyes. I'll tell you everything. Every conversation, every request, every piece of information I provided. I'll testify. I'll cooperate completely. Just please, don't let this affect my daughter's treatment. Barbara stood and walked to the window, hair back to loose. For a long moment, she was silent. Then she turned around. Sarah, what you did was wrong. You betrayed this community. You endangered families in 3 other neighborhoods. And you lied to all of us for months. Mrs. Rodriguez nodded, unable to speak. But, Barbara continued, you also helped David. You installed security cameras that actually worked. You filed legal motions that protected him from Karen's frivolous lawsuits. You showed up at every meeting, every protest, every court hearing. Barbara, what are you saying? Mr. Patel asked. I'm saying Sarah made a terrible choice when she was desperate and afraid for her daughter's life. But she stopped. She cut them off, and she's been trying to make amends ever since. Barbara looked at Detective Chun. What would a cooperation deal look like? Detective Chun conceded. If Sarah provides testimony that leads to arrests or convictions of other network members, and if we verify that she didn't directly cause harm to specific victims, we might be able to recommend reduced charges, possibly probation instead of prison time, depending on the prosecutor. I want to help her, Barbara said simply. The HOA board should vote. Barbara, she's a criminal, Mr. Johnson protested. She's a mother who made a desperate choice, Barbara countered. And then she made the right choice to stop. That has to count for something. The vote was close. Barbara and I voted to support offering Sarah help with legal fees and medical fundraising in exchange for her full cooperation. Mr. Patel and Mr. Johnson voted against. The tie meant no official HOA action, but Barbara wasn't deterred. Fine. Then I'll do it personally. Sarah, I'll help organize a fundraiser for Maria's medical expenses, and I'll testify as a character witness if it comes to trial. What you did was wrong. But you're not, Karen. You're not, Tom. You stopped when you realized the harm being caused. Mrs. Rodriguez broke down crying. Thank you. Thank you so much. Detective Chun escorted her out for formal questioning. As the door closed, the remaining board members sat in stunned silence. Did we just help a traitor? Mr. Johnson asked. We helped a desperate mother, Barbara corrected. There's a difference. Over the next 2 weeks, The story unfolded in layers. Sarah Rodriguez provided extensive testimony to the FBI, identified 2 more members of Karen's network. Both were arrested within days. She confirmed that the 3 communities she'd provided information on had never been actively targeted. Her information had been too general, and Tom had been arrested before any specific plans were made. The prosecutor, after reviewing everything, offered Sarah a deal: 2 years probation, 500 hours of community service, and full cooperation as a witness in all related trials, no prison time. The Riverside Meadows community was divided. Some residents wanted Sarah prosecuted to the fullest extent. Others, especially after learning about her daughter's illness, felt sympathy. Barbara organized a community meeting to discuss it openly. 93 families attended. "I know many of you are angry," Barbara said from the podium. "You feel betrayed. You want justice? Those feelings are valid." She paused. "But I also know something else. This community was nearly destroyed by Karen's greed and Tom's betrayal. We survived because we stood together, because we cared for each other, because we refused to let criminals break us apart." She gestured to the crowd. Sarah Rodriguez made a terrible mistake, but she also stopped before causing direct harm. She cooperated with law enforcement. She's taking responsibility, and most importantly, she did all of this while trying to save her dying daughter's life. My question is, what kind of community do we want to be? Do we want to be like Karen Cold? Calculating, unforgiving? Or do we want to be better than that? The room was silent. Then Mr. Patel stood. "I was ready to never forgive Sarah. She betrayed us. But Barbara's right. We're better than Karen. We're better than Tom. And that means we can forgive someone who truly regrets their actions." Slowly, others began to stand in agreement. Not everyone. Some remained seated, arms crossed, unwilling to forgive. But enough stood that the message was clear. Riverside Meadows would choose mercy. The fundraiser for Maria Rodriguez's medical expenses raised $67,000 in 3 days. Families who'd barely spoken to the Rodriguezes donated hundreds, even thousands. Maria received her kidney transplant on August 3, 2024. The surgery was successful. Sarah sent a video message to the community, standing in Maria's hospital room, tears streaming down her face. "Thank you. Thank you for being the community I didn't deserve, but desperately needed. I will spend the rest of my life trying to earn your trust back." Karen's appeal was denied on August 20th. She would serve her full 12 years, with no reduction. Tom Whitfield's trial began in September. Sarah testified against him, providing detailed accounts of how he'd recruited her, manipulated her, and threatened her daughter. Tom was convicted on 23 counts and sentenced to 25 years in federal prison. The 3 remaining network members Sarah had identified were also convicted, receiving sentences ranging from 8 to 15 years. By October of 2024, it was finally, truly over. I stood on my porch one evening, watching the sun set over Riverside Meadows. Barbara walked over from her house, 2 glasses of wine in hand. "Thought you might need this," she said, handing me a glass. "Thanks." I took a sip. "It's really over, isn't it?" "It really is." We sat in comfortable silence, watching neighbors walk dogs, kids ride bikes, life continuing normally. "I've been thinking," Barbara said, "about what this whole experience taught me." "What's that?" "Community isn't about living near each other. It's about choosing to stand together when things get hard. It's about forgiveness when forgiveness is earned. It's about being better than the worst things that happen to us." She turned to me, her red glasses catching the sunset light. "Karen tried to destroy us. Tom betrayed us. Even Sarah, in her desperation, put us at risk. But we survived all of it, and we're stronger now than we ever were." She was right. "You know what else I learned?" I said. "Home isn't just a building. It's the people who fight to protect it with you." Barbara smiled and raised her glass. "To home. To home," I echoed. We clinked glasses and drank, watching the sunset paint Riverside Meadows in gold and crimson. Across the street, Mr. Patel waved from his garden. Down the block, the Johnsons' dog barked happily. 2 houses over, Sarah Rodriguez played with Maria in their front yard. The little girl healthy, energetic, alive. Life went on. The neighborhood healed, and the fake cops who tried to tear down my home became nothing more than a story we'd tell, a story about how a community refused to break. 6 months later, in March of 2025, I received a letter from Karen. She wrote to apologize again, to update me that she was taking college courses in prison, trying to rebuild her life from nothing. "I don't expect forgiveness," she wrote. "I don't deserve it. But I wanted you to know that what you and Barbara did, choosing to show mercy to Sarah, despite her betrayal, changed something in me. You proved that people can be better than their worst moments. I'm trying to be better too." I showed the letter to Barbara. "Are you going to write back?" she asked. I thought about it. Thought about Karen in her cell, alone with her regrets. Thought about Sarah and Maria, given a second chance by a community that chose mercy over vengeance. "Yeah," I said, "I think I will. Because that's what home is. That's what community means. Not perfection, but the constant choice to be better, to forgive when possible, to stand together against the darkness." The fake cops who tried to tear down my home failed, because home was never just the building. It was always the people inside it. Thank you for following David's journey through. This story was about more than property. Theft. It was about community, forgiveness, and what it means to truly be home. Karen and Tom are in prison. Sarah got a second chance, and Riverside Meadows is stronger than ever. What did you think of the ending? Should Sarah have been forgiven? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this series, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more HOA drama stories.